just talking about cryptocurrency, that's Bitcoin. I mean, you guys probably all know this, but I just want to kind of lay the groundwork. With Ethereum coming out, now you can kind of program it in some really interesting ways. So, for example, what if you had, $50,000 of Ethereum and you wanted to send it to a person that you don't know, but that person that you're sending it to is maybe being like, yeah, I'm going to give you this car with that 50,000 Ethereum or whatever you're doing. Maybe you don't even know that person. You want the car to arrive at your house, and you don't want that money just disappear and the car never to arrive. So you could program an escrow system on the Ethereum blockchain to deposit your crypto into this escrow account. Then this car would maybe be shipped to the escrow place, and now the transference of that value can happen in a nice, safe way, right? So that's potentially an application of how people might use this programmable blockchain to transfer value. People have then moved further with this, where they've created whole systems for games, for decentralized finance, of swapping between different currencies, swapping between different monies, doing flash loans. There's a really bunch of crazy stuff. I'm going to be specifically talking about crypto games and the rabbit hole that is. Yeah, I've talked about Bitcoin a little bit. I've talked about Ethereum a little bit. All these blockchains are their own kind of digital ledger on the internet, right? So Satoshi, who is this anonymous person, put out the code for Bitcoin, and that spurred a huge amount of innovation, where people started making their own blockchains with their own little tweaks to how the blockchain functions. Some people were all about super privacy. Some people were about really fast transactions on top of the blockchain. And so everyone's kind of made their own custom blockchain. And Ethereum came out with one that was programmable, which was really, really interesting. And people kind of spawned off of Ethereum, making their own programmable blockchains. So I'll be talking about all the chains that exist, or some of them that are really cool. These pictures right here are NFTs, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Is the audio coming through? Is the audio coming through? Okay.
Yeah, I've asked private message people.
Okay.
And no one's responding, so I'm assuming it is.
Okay, cool.
If people gave a thumbs up, another thumbs up to help our presenter know. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome. Hey, welcome. So I wanted to kind of talk about the flow. If you have not done cryptocurrency before, you kind of need to understand how do you get into it, right? So the first thing is you have, the cryptocurrency out there, depending upon what blockchain you want to play with, you want to buy some of it. Now, to buy some of it, you have to go through an exchange. Just like if you were to go to France, you need to go to a foreign exchange your US dollars for some euros. I think France uses euros, right? And so you go and you hand them $10,000 and they hand you a bunch of euros. And then you can go spend your euros in France, right? So you need to go to an exchange on the internet to trade your US dollars for a certain type of cryptocurrency. So there's a bunch of them out there. There's a bunch of them. Coinbase is probably the most popular or most known about. Qcoin is another one. There's Binance. There's Kraken. Man, there's a ton of them. Anyways, you can look it up. These are called centralized exchanges, meaning there's a company in San Francisco, Coinbase, that will take your $10,000 and give you a bunch of Bitcoin, or give you a bunch of Ethereum, or give you a bunch of AVAX or Avalanche. And so that's what these centralized exchanges are. And for them to do that, they need to do a thing called Know Your Customer. Well, specifically in America, Coinbase does this. They need to have some information about you. So they'll take your driver's license and some other information to kind of know that you are who you are, and that you're not laundering money and stuff. There's other exchanges that don't do that. And they're outside of the United States, and they follow different jurisdictions, or they don't follow any jurisdictions. Cryptocurrency can be a very wild and crazy thing, and it really depends upon the legality of where that exchange operates for centralized exchanges, right? So along with Know Your Customer, I think a lot of people, when they first hear about cryptocurrency, they're like, oh, it's secret money. No one will ever know where I'm spending the money. That's not true at all. I can, if I know your wallet address, I can see what you bought and sold for the last forever, because It's always saved on the blockchain. It's immutable, and I can track. It's it's not private, secret and private. So just want you to know that first of all. There are some blockchains that have talked about it and try to implement some things that make the money untraceable. You can investigate those if you want. So that's the KYC, the know your customer, that these centralized exchanges do. So you take your US dollars, you put it up on Coinbase, you say, hey, I want to buy some Ethereum. You buy Ethereum. You now have that Ethereum in this wallet that Coinbase has created for you. Okay. You don't own that wallet. They own the wallet, just like Chase Bank owns your bank account. They can like turn your money off if they want to, or turn it back on. So what people have done, and this is from the very start of the whole cryptocurrency thing, is they make their own wallet. And it's not very hard to make your own wallet. You can download a tool called MetaMask. There's my Ether wallet. There's a whole bunch of different ways, but there's a wallet for each blockchain in a sense. So we'll just talk about MetaMask for a while. So you have your money, your Ethereum that you purchased in Coinbase, and you don't want, what if Coinbase like shuts down or crashes? I don't want my Ethereum taken away from me. So you would then send it to your own spawned crypto wallet. And you're the only one that holds the passphrase and the keys to this crypto wallet. If you lose that passphrase, and you guys have probably heard about stories about this, of people losing literally hundreds of millions of dollars because they forgot the 12 words for the passphrase of their crypto wallet. You need to keep track of that crypto phrase, and you never share it with anybody. You never put it anywhere. You don't do anything like that, because unlike a bank where you're like, hey, Chase, someone did fraud against me. They stole my $10,000. There's no Chase Bank to be like, it's the blockchain. Like nobody can help you. It's gone. So there's a lot of scary stuff around this. So a lot of people just kind of stay with Coinbase because they can let Coinbase be the custodian of their money, and kind of keep it safe. And they trust the centralized authority to kind of keep their crypto in there. And so if they're just doing crypto investing where they just want to buy a crypto coin low and then maybe hold it for a long time and sell it for a high price, that's what a lot of people do in Coinbase or Qcoin or something. If you are you want to get more into the craziness of blockchain, you might want to get something like a MetaMask wallet or the other wallets that exist. From there, and now that I've talked about kind of like what wallets are, you can select which chain this wallet connects to. So a lot of times if you want to do things on like OpenSea, which is a market that lets you buy and sell and trade these crypto items called NFTs, you might want to set up a wallet so that you can then interact with OpenSea. You can't interact necessarily, I mean, you can't from Coinbase to OpenSea, but it's more like people like to do it where they interact from MetaMask to OpenSea. And this whole thing, people, the reason they do this is that they want to make more wealth, I guess, potentially, or they want to do some really cool things with it. So they buy Ethereum, they buy it at, $600 a unit, right? And then they watch the price go up to $3,000 a unit. They then sell it because they've been doing price lookups on various websites like CoinCapMarket or CoinGecko. And then they were like, oh man, it's really high. And they sell it on Coinbase. They get back their US dollars and they just made a profit of $2,400, right? When they do that, mind you, they need to pay attention to taxes. So this is if they sell within 12 months, and maybe you guys can correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but if they sell within 12 months, it's considered short-term gains because crypto is considered an asset in America. And if you sell it after holding it for 12 months, it's a long-term gain. So it's a different tax amount that happens with that sell event that you've done. So if you are going to get into this, pay attention to what you're buying and selling because you're going to have to pay taxes on it at the end of the year. It's pretty important to pay attention to that.
See if there's any questions.
Yeah.
For the taxes, do you know if it's like if you sell, like say you have like a Bitcoin and Ethereum, if you sell Bitcoin to Ethereum, is that like a tax?
That's an event.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And what will happen is because it's all on the blockchain, you can see where that trade happened, where you switch between Bitcoin to Ethereum, and they'll do a price lookup and mark what the price is at that point. And that's will be kind of what you get taxed on, that difference. And you have to do capital gains on that. So if you're doing a lot of high frequency trading, or there's services out there, I think Coin Tracker is one of them, but you can just like put your crypto wallet in there and it'll kind of spit out all the stuff that you've done.
Well, like, would that be like only if like, say like you're on your own wallet
Yeah.
and like you're not on the centralized exchange? Like the centralized exchange is like no, you, right? So, but like if you're on your own wallet, then
Right.
like,
So the real question is, how did you receive? So I'll repeat the question in case it didn't get heard. It was, why would you have to pay taxes on your own standalone crypto wallet if it's not, through Coinbase exchange? It's really kind of like how risky you want to be with the IRS. And remember, this is just tech nerd conversations. I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. Because it's all on the blockchain and you're not necessarily using chains that obfuscate or tumble your money, it is very possible, very easy actually for a trained analyst to find out where that money happened. So the real question is, where did you get that money that you put into your private crypto wallet? I mean, maybe somebody random on the internet sent it to your crypto wallet address and you've never ever shared that wallet address anywhere public or social or anything like that. So yes, in that case, it is untraceable, because like, how do we know that's your wallet? Like maybe there's some IP tracking that we could do, that kind of stuff. But otherwise you normally can link it, because like, how do you onboard your money? You put $10,000 into Coinbase and then you send it to your MetaMask wallet. Like we can see that transaction because it's all on the blockchain.
well,
And then
because like the question is like how are like for like a lot of the we say like a lot of cryptocurrency have been used by drug dealers. How do they
Right.
It's like,
Right.
it's like,
Right. So there's some places that you could buy it that don't do know your customer. Right. So if that's how you got the money, or there's a thing called like Tornado Cash where you can kind of throw your crypto in and launder it and shuffle it and tumble it. There's a lot of crazy things out there on the internet that you can research about that. So yeah, that's the interesting thing. I would still say it's probably still traceable, except potentially if you use Tornado Cash. But
Okay, there's an online question from Bill. Is there one blockchain for all crypto or separate chains for each?
Separate chains for each. So there's a ton of chains out there. I think there's probably like 2,000 or 3,000 different chains. And they're all kind of competing each other for popularity. Yeah, they're all kind of competing for popularity. Bitcoin is the largest market cap. I think it's like $3 billion or something. I don't know, 2 billion. I have to look. It changes. Ethereum is the secondary, meaning how much money is being tossed around within that market, within that chain. And then there's a cascading amount. I would go to CoinGecko or go to CoinMarketCap, and you can kind of see what the most popular chains are and how they become more or less popular. Oftentimes is the utility of what's happening with the chain, what random celebrity thinks they're super awesome, Elon Musk, and potential future promises of awesomeness that the chain has. So there's a lot of crazy volatility in it, and I think a lot of people just kind of invest in some of the top chains. Other people will invest into chains that are really not known at all, but they can buy it super low. They could buy 100,000 units at 1 cent, and then they'll see it go from 1 cent to $1, and they just made a huge amount of money, right? So that's a good question, man. I hope that answered it.
I was gonna address this issue about taxation and all that. The IRS has invested heavily in the complete chain analysis. So it's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like cryogenics, people freeze their body because we have got no solution right now, cancer or whatever. So hopefully 20 years time, when we find a solution, we come back to life.
Yeah.
So cryptocurrency is kind of like that too, because it's on the blockchain, all the record is there. Just because we don't have the tools to analyze and see who, what, and all that doesn't mean you're safe, because 20 years from now, when they find a solution, they'll come back and so it's
you own $500,000 in
yeah,
taxes because you
so the
didn't
other
pay it
thing-
in
The other thing about
2017.
it is that, we have emails and all that, right? By triangulation, we actually know who spoke to who and when and all that. It may take 10 years. So it's really, The writing's on the wall. It's gonna be there forever. So unless you have a foolproof out of the country, cold wallet, but the original coin that you got, if it's not freshly mined, that means there's a history. If there's a history, this person may be a drug dealer. I mean, we don't know. There's a whole history of all coins. Therefore, it'll come back to haunt you. Unless it's version coins freshly mined by your machine, or even that, you got your IP address, you got your utility bill, and yeah, seriously.
Yeah. It's kind of one of the cool reasons about the blockchain is that it is all there. It's very much an open data platform of how value is being transferred back and forth, which can enable all this stuff.
So my big, I can't, how do you read a blockchain? Can you just go,
Yeah,
is it publicly accessible?
It is.
You just go in and, so you just bought a Bitcoin, it will be embedded in that database and I just look up your name or
Yeah.
how does that
So the reason it's called blockchain is that there's blocks where a miner, a person running a application on their computer or their GPU, whatever, processes for Bitcoin or potentially for Ethereum, processes a very complicated algorithm to try to produce another prime number in a sense. And once they win the race, they get to then process all the pending transactions into a block. That block is then written onto a chain and they're all chained together, those blocks. So you have a block explorer that can look through all those blocks and find out, 15th transaction in block 403,322. That was where you did that trade from Ethereum to Bitcoin or something like that.
You get identified there. Is it your name? Is it your email? Is it
Yeah. So if you put your money into Coinbase, you get the Ethereum, and then you have a wallet, and that wallet has a hexadecimal long string of characters, which is very, 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 very rare. There's probably less stars in the galaxy than how rare it is, right? So that is your identifier to your crypto wallet. And that's where you put your crypto that you bought into that wallet. And now whenever you do things, that wallet address is what signs those transactions.
Right, yeah, I just want to understand that connection between human being and numbers in a database.
Go ahead.
Can I explain?
Yeah.
So I guess the easiest way to think about it is think of an Excel sheet, right? Where the columns are, think of them as addresses, and sitting in the rows, and you could think of who owes what as a transaction. So say you could have row A1, right, and someone sent from A1 to someone to A1 some money. But the interesting thing about blockchain is a series of Excel spreadsheets that tracks where the money is coming from. Right? So say day one, there's a transaction column A1, column row A1, then day two, column row A4 has the transaction. If you look at the history over time, you see how the money is being moved around.
And your question was how do they know who you are
Yeah,
personally?
right.
It's because they know your customer. So if you put your money into Coinbase, they know your email, they know your name, they know your social security number.
Tie that together and that's in the blockchain.
Right. Well, it's not in the blockchain.
Right, right. Right. Okay, and that's the trail. Yeah.
That's the trail.
Got it.
So I think to carry on the question. So it sounds like the wallet is kind of like your car license plate.
Totally.
And so the blockchain is a bunch of red light cameras where it's got pictures of everything that's going on in the blockchain. It's just all these pictures of license plates. But in the case of a license plate camera, right, a red light camera, only the police can read the camera, and then they have to call the DMV and be like, hey, this
guy did something bad. Yeah.
Where's the address that I mailed this ticket to?
Right.
I think that's the part that I don't understand is there a publicly available way for just Joe Blow to say, hey, this wallet number, what's that person's name? Or would they have to be hey, Coinbase, here's a warrant, like, we want this, I mean, like, is it just?
It's more that,
Oh, okay.
actually.
So it's kind of like a license plate, like a private person
Yeah.
couldn't go to the DMV and say,
Yeah,
I saw this license plate, what's that person's name?
unless you shared it socially, which is what I'll get to, where because we're going to start operating in this Web3 blockchain world, people share their wallets all the time so they can participate in the fun that
So like
exists.
somebody put it on Facebook, like send me money.
Yeah.
For my coffee
Yeah.
bread recipe or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, so you can find it that way.
You know, I was gonna say, there are simple ways and there are very difficult ways. The simple ways are KYC with
Coinbase.
and all that, so I have my name and all that. If I send money to you and all that with my wallet, by triangulation, we know who owns what wallet. But there are other things too, like in the early days, the Silk Road, you know, that dark web thing.
Yeah.
He got caught, although he used Tor. Tor is anonymous, and yet the government found him. So the IRS has invested money in special companies, Chainalysis, basically analyze all the data globally, whatever timing there are. Once it gets hit, it's the whole thing gets populated. So there's a complicated things that cost millions and millions of dollars. That so therefore the thing is, it doesn't pay to try to hide because we don't know what will be invented when somehow somebody did some silly thing, mention, you know, something, and with that one little clue, 10,000 people could be identified.
Yep.
So back to the Tor thing. Tor is anonymous, but the way the FBI caught him was because there was an IP address that was associated. Every time this IP address comes on, you know, the administrator for Silk Road comes live. So it's difficult, but it found him. So therefore, you know, the whole pondering about like, oh, you know, I'm going to be safe and all that. You can't. I mean, especially like I said, if it's not a version coin that's mined, that means it's got a record, it's got a history. So who knows when the history retied, not just in the past, but in the future also. From the future, we know that it tied to somebody, some charitable organization or something, we backtrack it. It's like, oh, you got 16 Bitcoin that you sold.
Hey, Quan, I'm gonna interrupt just for a second. In the learning curve for myself, the audience is having a little bit of a the online audience is having a little bit of a hard time hearing the live
chat.
audience. So if you could, when you talk, please speak up loudly. We're over halfway through and I think Benji has some more slides. So
Okay.
there will be networking time afterwards.
Yeah, we can answer it. It's a really deep topic. I would just say, yeah, like you're going to be traced. So just, you know, it's not a secret like money network where you can launder money. Like it's not. It'll bite you. So I'll kind of move on. So I think we kind of understand the concept of having a wallet, having some crypto coins inside that wallet, and that wallet address being this really cool thing that you can kind of like potentially share with a friend so they could send you coins to your wallet. The next thing that kind of happened that was really cool is a thing called someone came up with a concept of, instead of there being, you know, 21 million Bitcoins and they're all the same, right? Just like $1 is the same as the next dollar, right? Okay, yeah, it has a serial number on it, but they're all the same, right? You can trade one for the other, and it's like, all right, we traded $1 for $1. That's called fungible, being fungible. Being non-fungible is a concept of, you know, this pair of sunglasses has scratches on it. It has, you know, weird things about it. Yeah, it looks like maybe some other pairs of sunglasses, but it's totally unique in the fact that it's an object and it has some crazy different things about it than other ones. So people ended up building art projects where they would say, all right, I'm going to make 15 paintings and I'm going to make a record on the blockchain that says, this painting, I'll take a picture of it. I'll put that image on the blockchain, say this object on the blockchain, this non-fungible token represents this painting that I made. And there's only one of them. And because I'm the artist, I made this record, this receipt. And now, hey, anybody want to buy the receipt of this painting? And you'll like own this painting. And so people started trading around these receipts or these non-fungible tokens for the art that they were creating or the thing that they were creating. Another cool example is like, what if we started instead of doing deeds to houses where you have to go through a title company, you transfer the deed from one person to another person, maybe we have an NFT of the deed of the house. That's an interesting way to potentially utilize the NFTs as a thing. So you guys probably heard about it, but like some people made some NFTs and they started selling them for like 20 bucks, 100 bucks, maybe 300 bucks. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. People started selling these things. And then someone started selling a Bored Ape, which is just a picture of an ape, but they made a generative art algorithm that produced thousands of them. Okay. And they said to the public, hey, we're never going to make any more of this collection of pieces of art. Okay. And so people started trading them. And then the price just kept on going up and up and up. And OpenSea became a marketplace where you could buy and sell and trade these NFTs to the point where these Bored Apes are selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars. Now you might wonder why people would do that. You know, I kind of really visualize it as kind of a renaissance of art trading in a sense. So, you know, yeah, people make amazing paintings that are, you know, 15 feet wide, really hard to move around. And some super rich person buys that 15-foot painting. Maybe they put it in their house or they keep it in some, you know, San Diego port. They keep it in some like temperature controlled gallery that's like no one ever visits it, but they know that they own it because they know that that art is rare. And if they keep it in the port, they don't have to pay taxes on it. So, but maybe they have a picture of it in their phone and they're like, man, I own that thing. That is awesome. And because on some ledger somewhere, you know, from Christie's or some auction house, they own that 15-foot painting and they have the right to sell that 15-foot painting to somebody else. So I think people have started to really realize that if you have the ownership or the trail of ownership, the provenance of owning something, supported by the technology of what this blockchain does, it can really kind of spur this new form of trading value back and forth between people. So that's why Bored Apes have started to become crazy amounts of money, because one, the pictures are cool. Two, the people that the community that build up around it is super passionate, and they have worked hard to keep the price at a certain level. So just like people that own, you know, Monet paintings keep the price at a certain level, and they will not sell it to you for $20. They will not. They will sell it to you for, you know, 1.5 million or whatever a Monet is worth, right? So them as a community, all those Monet owners, they will not sell you at a super low price because they don't want the price to drop low, because they want to maintain the art value and the monetary value of things. So that's where these generative art kind of why they start gaining so much value is because they turn from just being a picture that you can copy on your phone and like put on your Facebook page to becoming a brand, a very big brand. I mean, people start wearing these Bored Ape sweatshirts. It's a flex saying, hey, I'm hella rich. I was in there when it started. I'm like an OG NFT trader. And so there's this whole like aesthetic, there's this whole community, there's this whole culture that's building up around them that is very, very well funded by these people that invested $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2010, and now they're multi-millionaires, right? So they can buy these things at $2 million and be like, whatever, I spent $5 on that back in 2010. That's where they're thinking their money is, right? So what's cool about this is now there's some really valuable NFTs being bought and sold. There's a very vibrant community. OpenSea is making millions of dollars on transaction fees of people buying and selling and trading these things. Not only, you know, the people that make the NFTs end up, you know, earning money the one time that they sell their NFT, but they can also program into the smart contract getting royalties. So every time their Bored Ape gets sold and bought and sold, they can get 5%, 1%, 10%. Could a person that owned the Monet get that in the past? No, because it was never traced by the blockchain. There was never any rules written about it. And it was never decentralized, meaning you'd have to say, hey, Christy, where's my money? You know, Christy's the auction house. You sold my painting again. Can I get my royalty? And they'd be like, no, we never made that deal. So that's what's really kind of interesting about this trading and selling of NFTs is there's this art level buying and selling and trading happening, and some really interesting royalty stuff built in. So how could this potentially help a business locally? If you are an artist, if you are a company that wants to put digital goods up on the internet, you could potentially turn them into NFTs and profit from this royalty mechanism. That's one basic thing. It gets deeper than that, though. You can potentially only allow people to buy your next product that you're putting out there as an NFT if they own a prior piece of art that you sold them. So, for example, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, they're a very private group of people in the way that they only hang out with other Bored Ape Yacht Club people. And so it's like a rich person's club kind of thing. And so they get access to the first things that happen. They get access to all this new information. So it's very much like a club, a secret society of people figuring out like what's the next big thing. And literally these are the people that understood what the next big thing was. So if you're part of that crew and you're hearing about the next big thing, you're going to become even richer. So that's kind of where I think the mentality comes from, some of that stuff. Yeah.
One observation, one question from the audience. We have about 13 minutes. I know you have 5 more slides, so
Yeah.
just throwing that out there. So Micah has, would you speak about contracts and signatures and the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, for example, at this level?
Yeah, I can talk about that in a little bit later. I think that's a little deeper.
Okay,
We'll
yeah.
get there.
So make it through the slides.
Yeah, we'll make it through the
See
slide.
where we go.
So, you know, one thing that's been a problem is people start copying the art and putting up their own NFTs of the exact same art, because you can literally copy and paste the art. And so if you are getting into buying and selling and trading NFTs, you do need to do your research. You need to make sure that the collection that you're buying from is the actual collection, because you could be buying a scam and then you're not getting access to that community. You're not getting access to all those things I kind of talked about that have that kind of ancillary stuff that happens with NFTs. And you can buy something that is super hyped up and it's totally crap, right? Or the community owner that put up the NFT, they just disappear because the internet's pretty anonymous. You can still probably track them down if you did all the work and stuff, but you know, they can walk away. Like I was part of one project that they sold out 5,000 NFTs in 5 minutes. They made $2.4 million in 5 minutes, and then they disappeared 5 days later. And without the promises, so there's a lot of promises that are happening. So you know, all those people kind of just lost their money in a sense, because the art went from being potentially a Monet to trash, right?
So the creator has to maintain the community quality.
Right. And they should, in a sense, like this, the people that sold out 5,000 pieces in 5 minutes, that's a large community of people that are super passionate. You probably could sell them more NFTs further down the road. So like, it was kind of a weird thing that they did. They lost out on potentially engendering a very passionate community, because the goal of the community is like for a lot of people is, I'm going to buy this NFT for $200 and maybe later sell for $800, or hold it for 5 years and sell for $3,000, something like that.
But what about like a real life example like Van Gogh?
Yeah.
Posthumously became famous,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's not there ever to create anymore. Limited supply.
Mm-hmm.
How does that translate to digital NFTs?
Right. So, you know, the artist could disappear. I think the art itself has to like communicate something that is a big mind change for humanity. Something, you know, whatever people view as art, that's a very subjective thing, right? So some people think that a picture of an ape is like the most amazing art, and some people would say that's trash, right? And so it's really like, what group of people think that's amazing, and how big is that group of people?
But in the digital NFT world,
Yeah.
the creator has to participate in order to.
Not necessarily, right? So the art, potentially the art and the community itself, for example, that NFT that they rugged on, the community ended up getting access to the wallet that produced that NFT, and they were able to kickstart their community again. So the value of those things started going up again. Right now, we're just talking about art value. I think I want to get to the point where it gets more really fun with the crypto games, because that's what I think is really fun about this whole thing.
You should keep going.
Yeah.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
here for the main event.
Yeah. So yeah, there can be lots of scams. Safety, I talked about that a little bit. Never share your passphrase, ever. Minting is the process of interacting with a contract, which is how the NFT is created. There's a bunch of code that's on the blockchain. You interact with the contract with your wallet and you mint an NFT. You summon it out of nothing. It's almost like mining a block, but it's different. So you mint this NFT, it suddenly exists and it's deposited into your bank, into your wallet, okay? You can then buy and trade and sell it. Potentially you could sell it to yourself at a lower price and do the thing called tax loss harvesting, because it's an asset and you have to pay capital gains on things. Sometimes if you buy a real, you sell a lot of NFTs and make a lot of money, you might be like, look at all this other trashy art I have. I want to sell it back to myself and that's actually a legal thing with the IRS right now, which is crazy. I
Or
can't
you
believe
can sell it to yourself and jack up the price.
Right.
And fake it.
And you can fake it too. So that's another crazy thing. People can make these circles of wallets. They're like, oh, I sold my NFT for $10,000. It's like, no, you sold it. Yeah.
Yourself.
Just because you had $1 million in your own bank account, now you can create this false sense of transactions. So you have to that's why you have to do your own research, because you have to make sure that it's legit. And this kind of NFT thing is happening on many, many chains. So I personally am making a video game on the Avalanche blockchain. And the reason I'm doing that is the Avalanche chain has really fast transactions. So for example, if you trade an NFT to somebody on Ethereum, it takes, I don't know, 5 minutes sometimes for that transfer of this thing to go to you, because we have to wait for the miners to process the block, to approve the transaction, to do that stuff. And that could take 5 minutes. For a video game, 5 minutes clicking, hey, I want to buy more gold, or I want to attack the creature, like 5 minutes between each, that can't work for a game, right? So that's why we're on Avalanche, because it's pretty fast. Transactions within a second, 2 seconds.
What is the fastest blockchain?
I think right now Solana claims to be, though some people argue that
It's too
not for,
centralized.
yeah, not for finality, technically, not for finality. So, but it's like 500 milliseconds, so it's pretty fast. So a lot of games are going to Solana. I have some reasons that I can talk about after the thing why I chose Avalanche, but am I pressing the right button? I gotta click the thing. Okay. So crypto games. So everyone's making these NFTs and they're like pictures of apes and stuff. But the cool thing is that there's one of these things. So there's one crypto ape that has like, is smoking a cigarette and has like a captain's hat on or something like that. Those traits on that NFT are fun and different and completely unique. So you can build a game around that being your character. You have that ape, he's your character, and you could like go explore worlds with that character. Maybe you can make that character stronger by building up some other contract technology on the blockchain that makes them stronger. What if you then took that ape into a game and you wanted to start competing with other people, and the game owner's like, hey, I got $10 million because I raised it from some VCs. I got $10 million. I will reward you guys some crypto coins as rewards for you battling it out against each other, or maybe discovering through this mine, you open up a chest and you find some Benji coin there. And so you take the Benji coin and you're like, oh my God, I just found 10,000 Benji coin. And so sweet. Now you can take that Benji coin and maybe you can make another new sword for your ape that you've been piloting around. Okay. So like 2 years ago, I think, a company named Skydance, they made a game called Axie Infinity, which is kind of like Pokemon. I don't know if you ever played Pokemon, but it pretty much lets you buy 3 NFTs, little Axies, and you can then battle them as a team against other people's Axies on the phone or on the web. And whoever wins the battle earns some love potion. So it's just like a crypto coin that you earn. So you keep on earning this stuff, and you have to have 3 Axies, so you have to buy them. And at the beginning of Axie Infinity, they're very inexpensive. You could buy an Axie for pretty cheap. Now they're not very inexpensive. They're actually quite expensive, thousands of dollars. So I'm going to show you Kerbata, which is one I play. Okay. And the reason why they kept on going up in value is because the Skydance company, they didn't make any more Axies. They said, here's 10,000. We're never making any more ever again. And so all the players that first got those original Axies are like, hell yeah, I got an NFT and no one else can get it because there's only 10,000 players. But suddenly there's 100,000 players that want to play. So Axie did build in a thing that lets you breed your Axies together. So you can take an Axie and another Axie and they can make a baby Axie. And now you, because you own the first two Axies, you own that baby Axie, you can sell that to somebody else. So a whole economy of selling these NFTs started building up through this kind of breeding thing and the battling thing. Now the question is, well, how do you take those love potions and turn them into US dollars, right? So what they did was they built up an exchange that let you trade the love potion tokens. I think they're actually tokens. I might be getting this wrong. I don't play the game specifically, but you could trade it for Ethereum. And then you can take that Ethereum and you can trade it for US dollars through Coinbase, something like that. Yep. 3 minutes. Holy shit. All right. Okay. Well, all these games kind of do this thing. I'll kind of just show you one real quick.
What game do you play?
I'm going to show you Pizza Game. So it's really simple because it's the simplest to explain. Music playing. Jazzy stuff. Okay. Oh, where'd it go? It's hard to play this thing. Where'd my Pizza Game go? Oh, there he goes. Okay, so here's Pizza Game. I saw this game. I was like, oh, you can buy pizza chefs. You can put the pizza chefs in the pizzeria and they can make pizza and they can make one pizza a minute or one pizza a second. I think it's no, one pizza a minute. And so I was like, cool. And then I can sell the pizza, which is a token, for money. So I'll show you how that works. So I went to nftrade.io. There you go. I went here. Hopefully our internet works. Damn. All right, there we go. Oh, okay. This is a great use case. I just went to nftrade.io. That's totally not where I wanted to go. All right. So I checked the URL right up here and see there's an extra T in there. That is not the place I want to go. But I could still probably connect my wallet. Hey guys, just connect your wallet. Okay, so you have to be pretty savvy about what you're connecting into. You always like want to check the SSL certificate by clicking the lock and stuff. Anyways, you have to be careful because if I were to press that button, connect my wallet, oftentimes you just connect your wallet. You need to read the permissions that you're providing. Very much read the permissions that you're providing because you potentially sign a transaction that gives them access to your funds. So you have to be really careful, but we will not go to that place. There we go. See, I clicked the first answer and that's.
So do you report them for phishing or whatever?
I mean, are they in America? I don't know. I'm typing it in wrong. It's really hard. Sorry. And trade, man, I put in the wrong thing. Oh my God. Is it .com? I thought it was on. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Thanks. So here's Pizza Game. And right now they're selling for 3.34 AVAX. So I was like, cool, I want to buy a pizza chef. So I clicked on that guy. I connected my wallet over here. I have 24 AVAX in my wallet because I bought some from Coinbase. I sent it to this crypto wallet I have through MetaMask. And I'm like, sweet, I want to buy that guy. I approve of the terms and conditions, check out. It takes like 3 seconds. I suddenly have an NFT in my crypto wallet, okay? On the Avalanche chain, because this exchange is on the Avalanche chain. And I do that because I want to play games that happen fast, not an Ethereum game, right? So then I went over to pizza.game and I was like, sweet. You know, I could spend more pizza to mint my own chef, but I already bought one on NF Trade as a platform. So then I went down here, I took my pizza chef and I staked it. I clicked the button. I approved the crypto transaction because it'll say, hey, you want to do this thing? This is an on-chain action. I do it. And then the pizza chef starts making pizza. which you can see up here. I have 9,504 pizza left for me to claim right now. So I think I'll claim it. So I'll claim it. Inside their game, they say, oh, there's a tax and we're gonna steal 1,900 pizza from you. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm gonna get total 7,603 pizza into my crypto wallet. So I click claim. Here's the MetaMask thing comes up. And it tells me how much it's going to cost for me to approve this transaction. It says 0.13 AVAX. I can potentially mess around with this gas fee. This is the payment to pay for the transaction to go through. I can mess around with it, but I do some quick math in my brain and I say, okay, AVAX is going for $80 right now, 10% of, so this is an $8 transaction for me to make this game happen, which is high. So why is it high? It's potentially because there is congestion on the blockchain right now, that so many people are playing it that the algorithm that kind of produces how much transactions cost turns up. And or the pizza game people, they took the base level transaction that costs to run the blockchain a transaction to have it finalized, and they put a fee on top of it. So they're charging microtransaction fees every time I collect my pizza. Okay, but I'll just do it anyways because whatever, it's for science.
And so is the 9,509, is that actually like, that's an APY return on staking, basically?
Yeah, I have totally. So I'll explain that to you. So
Okay.
So Benji, theoretically, if it was 102 and we had a minute left.
I can keep going.
I
I can keep going for 3 hours.
You could, I don't know, is there, so for those that need to leave.
Yeah, let me just finish up the pizza game thing because I'm gonna just show people how I've been making money for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think people might
Yeah.
stick around for that, okay.
So yeah, so I mean, this game's a little janky, but whatever. I finished the transaction, and so it's a little janky. Anyways, now I have 28,000 in my wallet because I had like some prior pizza in my wallet.
You have 20,000 AVAX or 20,000?
Pizza.
Okay.
So then I need to go trade the pizza for AVAX because AVAX is real. Like people will, I can take that AVAX, I can send it back to Coinbase and turn it into real money. So, you know, I have 28,000. So I'm going to go click on this button because they understand, continue. Okay. So let's go one day here. So, oh man, it's awkward. Dancing here. Let's go here. So this is called Trader Joe's. So I was talking about centralized exchanges prior, okay? And that was like Coinbase and stuff. And they're like based in America or they're based in Korea, wherever the centralized exchange is. And if their website goes down, their website goes down. Decentralized exchanges are actual contracts on the blockchain, and they just have a pretty website, but you could actually, if you're a programmer, you could interact directly with the contract and you could swap this type of coin for this type of coin, and you don't need any other person to do it. You don't need any other centralized authority. Normally the centralized exchange, they have, you know, $500 million, and they put that $500 million into their treasury, and they use that as how they can kind of swap. All right, we'll take some AVAX and I'll give you some US dollars because we have 5 million US dollars. So we'll take your AVAX from you. Decentralized exchanges work off of a thing called an automated market maker. And so it's this concept that Vitalik Buterin came up with. He's the inventor of Ethereum. And it's the concept of, hey, if you put in $50,000 of $50,000 worth of AVAX, and then because you're the person that invented pizza coin, you can spawn as many pizza coin as you want, depending on how you wrote your contract. Here's 50,000 pizza coin, and you make a trading pair between those two. And so now, literally at this exact moment, one pizza coin is worth one AVAX to whoever wants pizza coin. So someone puts in, you know, they put one AVAX into the liquidity pool, and then pizza coin goes down by one. And now they have a pizza coin in their wallet. So people that make crypto games, they'll create a liquidity pair and they'll create a liquidity pool. That's what we call this liquidity pool. They'll put in some money to fund it initially. And then because people want to get in the game, they will buy the NFTs, they'll start making the pizza, and then they'll earn the pizza and they'll be like, I want to turn it back into AVAX. And so they'll deposit their pizza, and then they'll take out the AVAX. And it potentially could go to the point where so many people want all the AVAX and they put in so much pizza, there's nothing left in the liquidity pool and it's no longer functional. But normally, if you built the game nicely or you built the system nicely, the pool kind of goes like this. And depending on how deep the pool is, you can have this automated market maker that lets people have liquidity between trading things. So you don't need a centralized authority to have $500 million to make this thing happen. Instead, you have this automated market and liquidity pool that happens. So the pizza game people, they made a liquidity pool and they put in a bunch of money, probably because they sold a bunch of NFTs and like, sweet, we just made like, I don't know, $5 million in AVAX. They put their AVAX in the liquidity pool. And now people start earning their pizza in the game that they made. And they're like, I want to get some AVAX back because I need to pay my rent. So all they do is they say, because I have all this pizza, I'm going to put in, let's cash out 10,000. I don't know how, there we go. So I can get one AVAX back. Okay. And so if I press that button, I'll get my AVAX into my wallet and then I can take it to my Coinbase account and I can get cash.
And you make one pizza per minute.
I make one pizza per minute. So let's do some math. So if I make, so I have 4 chefs. So I bought 4 chefs. I think I bought them for $200 each, something like that. Okay. So let's say I make 4 pizza a minute times 60 minutes in an hour times 24. So I make 5,760 pizza a day doing nothing, right? I press the stake button like 48 hours ago, and then I make all this pizza. So right now, pizza is trading for, let's go back to pizza game because they kind of turn into US dollars. So 0.009 cents. Okay. So let's just take that and we'll multiply it by 0.009. So I'm making $51 a day doing nothing. It's pretty fun. Now you might question, like, how the heck is he making $51 a day doing nothing? Like, how is that even sustainable, right? The people that make these crypto games, they have a big pie. Okay, they take 30% of the pie, and maybe they sold off all these NFTs, or maybe they have investment. They take 30% of the pie and they say this money is allocated for the play to earn rewards. So they measure out, okay, well, we'll give out 1 pizza a minute. If we have 10,000 players, that's 10,000 pizza a minute. Then they do all this economics calculations to kind of see how fast they would burn through 30% of their total funds. And that's almost like the runway of their game. Like, if they run out of funds, the game kind of crashes and burns, right? Because people keep on extracting this money. Now, the idea is that along the way, people are paying those microtransactions as they extract their pizza, or they buy the new pizza cutter, or they buy a new pizza chef or something like that. And so there's a way that they can potentially keep that 30%, and it goes down like this, but however they do their economics, they can potentially make it sustainable. And so I have been playing games that have been making it sustainable. It's not necessarily a total Ponzi scheme, but like it kind of is sustainable, because in a sense you have people playing the game, putting money into it, and it kind of continues. There's in games, there's always winners and losers in games, right? So this is kind of a bigger extrapolation of that. That's kind of how crypto games work. So what's really interesting is I'm making $51 a day in pizza, but because the game still maintains its popularity, I could take my NFT pizza chefs and I could take them out of their pizzeria that they're working right now. I could go to nftrade.io or whatever it was, and I could sell them and get all my money back, right? Depending upon the market. If I, at one point I had 100% increase in value of my pizza chefs. I bought them one day, and then like 3 days later, the pizza game was really popular and everyone wanted a pizza chef. And so I could have sold all my pizza chefs for 100% gains. So yeah, that's kind of how crypto games work. I know it's all a little crazy, but I'll try to wrap it up. So
Yeah.
I'll do the plug.
Do a minute.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And so this is a plug for me. So I made a company called Tesuji Games, And we have a game called Rumble coming out, which lets you real-time battle your NFTs, any NFTs you buy. So maybe you have a Bored Ape or a Kaiju King or one of these things. You can real-time battle them on chain through our mini games that we have. We have a video chat functionality. You can then live stream the whole thing to thousands of people. We have a game show component to it as well. So it's kind of like an esports platform for NFT battles. We're really excited about it. There's a play to earn mechanic. So there's a way to earn pizza in a sense. We call it Tesuji as our token. But we've been working really hard on this for the last 4 years. We shifted to going to NFTs and crypto in the last year. And it makes total sense. I'm super excited about where we're going with it. So if anybody has any questions about it, you can go there. We have our white paper, which explains our whole tokenomics system. And I'm always available to chat. You guys can join our Discord. You can join our Twitter. Yeah, that's the plug for Rumble.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.